The invitation. The envelope shimmered in Jasper Hayes's hands, like nothing he'd ever seen before. Its surface rippled with colors that shouldn't exist in normal light. He turned it over, examining the strange seal that looked like a constellation he couldn't identify. "Another prank from the astronomy department," he muttered, brushing back his unruly brown hair. The 27-year-old graduate student was used to his colleagues' elaborate jokes, especially since he was known for taking everything too literally. The invitation inside read, "Your presence is requested at the Celestial Convergence. Formal attire representing your cosmic heritage is required. Coordinates will reveal themselves at midnight." Jasper laughed, assuming it was the department's annual costume party, just with more dramatic flair this year. He spent the next week crafting what he considered his masterpiece, a costume representing the Cassiopeia constellation, with tiny LED lights embedded in dark fabric that illuminated in the exact pattern of the stars. On the night of the event, he stood in his apartment waiting for the promised coordinates. At exactly midnight, the invitation began to glow, the paper transforming into something that resembled a digital map, pointing to an obscure location in the nearby forest. "They really outdid themselves this year," he whispered, impressed by the technology. Following the strange directions, Jasper hiked through the woods, his constellation costume occasionally snagging on branches. The deeper he ventured, the more he questioned his decision. Eventually, he reached a clearing bathed in moonlight where absolutely nothing waited for him. "Hello?" he called, feeling foolish. "Is this where the party is supposed to be?" Silence answered him, until the stars above began to shimmer oddly, as if rippling. Jasper's scientific mind immediately sought explanations: atmospheric distortion, high-altitude clouds, or perhaps, before he could complete the thought, a beam of light enveloped him, and then he was falling upward, his stomach lurching as gravity seemed to release its hold. His constellation costume flickered wildly, the LED patterns dancing across the fabric in a sequence he hadn't programmed. When the light faded, Jasper found himself standing in what could only be described as a ballroom suspended among the stars. Transparent walls revealed the curve of Earth below and the infinite expanse of space. Above, beings of various forms mingled around him, some humanoid, others defying description entirely. "Welcome, Ambassador of Cassiopeia," said a tall, elegant creature with 4 arms and skin that shifted colors like an octopus. "We were beginning. To worry your delegation wouldn't arrive for the convergence." Jasper opened his mouth, then closed it. His costume, his simple LED costume, had somehow identified him as an ambassador from a star system. "There's been a mistake," he tried to explain. "I'm just—" "The Queen approaches," the being announced, cutting him off. "You are most honored. Ambassador, Queen Nilith of the Australis Empire has selected you for the ceremonial first dance." Through the parting crowd, Jasper saw her, a vision of otherworldly beauty. Her skin was a deep purple that seemed to contain galaxies within it, and her eyes shone like liquid silver. She moved toward him with purpose, a smile playing on her lips that were the color of distant nebulae. And in that moment, Jasper Hayes knew his life would never be the same again. First contact. Queen Nilith glided across the crystalline floor toward Jasper, her movement so graceful she appeared to float rather than walk. Her gown flowed around her like cosmic dust, revealing glimpses of the stars themselves within its fabric. Her purple skin contained swirling patterns that resembled distant galaxies, catching the light with each step. "Ambassador of Cassiopeia, we are pleased by your attendance," she said, her voice melodic with an accent that seemed to echo across space and time. The alignment of our stars has been prophesied for generations. Jasper stood frozen, captivated by her silver eyes that reflected the universe itself. Up close. He could see that her purple complexion had subtle variations, like the atmospheric bands of a gas giant. She extended her hand toward him, and he noticed her 5 slender fingers adorned with rings that contained what looked like miniature solar systems. Thank you, Your Majesty, he stammered, taking her hand. He felt a gentle current pass between them, like static electricity, but somehow more alive, more aware. The celestial convergence happens once every 3 centuries, she explained as she guided him to the center of the ballroom. A diplomatic gathering where stellar nations forge alliances, sign treaties, and celebrate cosmic harmony. Your constellation has been notably absent from recent gatherings. Music began to play from an unseen source, notes that seemed to materialize directly in his mind rather than travel through air. I should probably tell you something, Jasper began nervously, but Nylith placed a finger to his lips. The dance of stellar communion comes first, she whispered. Words come after. That is our way. The floor beneath them began to glow, and Jasper felt gravity shift. He and the Queen rose several inches above the ground, surrounded by a field of energy that kept them suspended. Other pairs of diplomats joined them, each floating in their own gravity bubbles. Follow my lead, Nylith instructed, taking both his hands in hers. Let your body feel the cosmic rhythms. Jasper had never been a good dancer. But somehow, in zero gravity, with Nylith guiding him, he moved with unexpected grace. Their bodies orbited each other like binary stars, drawing closer, then spinning apart in perfect harmony. His constellation costume responded to the dance, its lights pulsing in rhythm with the music and, strangely, with Nylith's heartbeat. Your pattern speaks of creativity and wonder, Nylith said softly as they spiraled together. I have not sensed such genuine curiosity in centuries of diplomatic encounters. That's just me, I guess, Jasper replied, momentarily forgetting his predicament as he lost himself in the dance and her silver gaze. I've always been fascinated by the stars. Perhaps that is why the beacon chose you, she mused, her purple fingers intertwining with his. Beacon. Your garment, she said, gesturing to his costume. It resonates with our ancient calling patterns. Even now, it synchronizes with the royal frequency. Something I have not witnessed before, with a visiting diplomat. Jasper glanced down at his homemade costume, now understanding why the LEDs had been behaving strangely. Somehow, his random pattern based on Cassiopeia had matched an alien communication protocol. As they continued their celestial waltz, Jasper noticed other diplomats watching them intently, particularly a stern-looking being with crystal growths protruding from his shoulders who observed with narrowed eyes. Who's that? Jasper whispered. Royal Advisor Keldron, Nylith replied, her voice cooling slightly. He oversees diplomatic relations and is, shall we say, protective of Australis interests. The dance intensified, their gravity bubble merging with streams of light that wrapped around them like cosmic ribbons. Jasper felt a strange connection forming between them, as if their minds were beginning to orbit each other just as their bodies did. This dance, Jasper said breathlessly. It feels like more than just a ceremony. Nylith's silver eyes widened slightly. You can feel the bonding? She asked with surprise. Most non-Australis cannot perceive the psychic resonance. Before Jasper could respond, the music reached its crescendo, and their bodies drew together in the final movement, their faces inches apart. Jasper could feel her breath like a warm solar wind against his skin. "There is something unusual about you, Ambassador," she whispered, her silver eyes searching his. "Something wonderfully unexpected." Celestial Secrets. The ceremonial dance concluded with a shower of luminescent particles falling around them like cosmic snow. Jasper and Queen Nilith descended slowly back to the floor, their gravity bubble dissolving. The connection he had, felt during their dance, lingered, a faint presence in his mind like a distant star. "Your Majesty, the dance of stellar communion has concluded," Royal Advisor Keldrin approached, his crystalline growths glinting sharply. "The Proxima delegation awaits your audience." Nilith's expression shifted subtly, her radiance dimming. "Of course, Keldrin," she replied. Then turning to Jasper, she added, "We shall continue our discussion later. Ambassador, until then, Zorith will attend to your needs." A slender being with pale blue skin and intricate markings stepped forward and bowed. "This way," Ambassador Zorith said, gesturing toward a corridor that seemed to be formed from solidified starlight. As Jasper followed Zorith, he felt Keldrin's suspicious gaze boring into his back. "So, what exactly happens next at this convergence?" Jasper asked, once they were alone in a private chamber with walls that displayed the cosmos in real time. Zorith tilted her head, her large eyes blinking, vertically. "You are unfamiliar with the protocols. Curious, for a Cassiopean." Jasper swallowed hard. "Let's just say I'm, new to this position." "I suspected as much," Zorith replied with a knowing smile. "Your aura lacks the typical diplomatic encryptions, yet the Queen chose you for the sacred dance. Most intriguing." "Sacred dance? I thought it was just ceremonial." Zorith's eyes widened. "The dance of stellar communion is our most revered tradition. It initiates a psychic bond between participants, revealing their true cosmic essence to each other. It is typically reserved for those considering a deeper alliance." "Deeper alliance?" Jasper repeated, feeling suddenly lightheaded. "You mean like a merging of stellar destinies?" "Yes," Zorith confirmed. "What humans might call a matrimonial consideration." Jasper collapsed into what appeared to be a chair formed from swirling nebulous material. "I need to tell someone the truth. I'm not an ambassador. I'm just a graduate, student from Earth. This is all a huge misunderstanding." Instead of surprise, Zorith looked amused. "I know what you are. Human. The Queen knows as well." "She does?" "Queen Nilith possesses the gift of stellar sight. She can see the truth within. Beings. Your costume may have activated our beacon accidentally, but your selection for the dance was no mistake." Before Jasper could process this revelation, a soft chime echoed through the chamber. The wall shimmered, revealing a hidden doorway, through which Queen Nilith entered, her formal regalia replaced by a simpler gown that still contained universes within its folds. "Leave us, Zorith," she commanded gently. The aide bowed and departed. "You have questions, Jasper Hayes of Earth," she said once they were alone, settling beside him on the nebulous furniture. "You knew I wasn't an ambassador?" he asked incredulously. Nilith's lips curved into a smile. "From the moment our eyes met, your mind is unshielded, your emotions pure and unfiltered. No diplomat in the galaxy possesses such honest thoughts. Then why the dance? Why pretend?" "Because in 3 centuries of convergences, I have never encountered a mind that resonated so perfectly with my own," she replied, her purple hand reaching for his. When their fingers touched, the connection he had felt during the dance flared to life, suddenly stronger. "What's happening?" He gasped as images flashed through his mind, memories that weren't his own, glimpses of a childhood spent among the rings of distant planets, the weight of a crown, the loneliness of rule. "The bond deepens," she whispered, her silver eyes wide with wonder. "I can see your world through your memories, your passion for the stars, your dreams of exploration, your heart that has never found its home." Without thinking, Jasper reached out, his fingertips tracing the galaxy patterns on her purple cheek. She leaned into his touch, her eyes closing briefly. "This is impossible," he whispered. "We're from different worlds, different species. The cosmos has drawn us together across impossible distances," she murmured, moving closer. "Some connections transcend the physical barriers of space and time." Their lips met in a kiss that felt like supernovas colliding, stars being born. Her touch sent cascades of light through his nervous system, igniting sensations he had never imagined possible. He could feel her emotions intertwining with his own, her fascination, her longing, her hope. The chamber around them responded to their connection, the walls displaying the convergence of two distant galaxies spiraling together in cosmic union. When they finally parted, both breathless, Nyleth pressed her forehead against his. "The dance has begun a transformation, Jasper Hayes," she whispered, "one that cannot be undone." Neither noticed the shadow that passed across the doorway. Keldrin, his crystalline features hardened with rage as he witnessed the intimate exchange between his queen and the imposter from Earth. Cosmic crisis. The grand assembly of stellar nations filled the massive dome-shaped chamber. Representatives from 100 worlds gathered beneath a ceiling that displayed their home star systems in glittering accuracy. Queen Nyleth sat on a throne that seemed carved from a single crystal of cosmic ice, while Jasper stood nearby, his position of honor raising eyebrows among the delegates. "The treaties of stellar concordance will now be presented for ratification," announced a herald whose voice resonated through the chamber without apparent technological assistance. Jasper shifted uncomfortably. The past 12 hours had been a whirlwind of stolen moments with Nyleth, learning about her world, sharing stories of Earth, and feeling the strange bond between them grow stronger with each passing hour. Zorith had provided him with proper Astralis formal attire, a suit that seemed woven from the night sky itself, constellations shifting across its surface as he moved. "You look troubled," Zorith whispered, appearing beside him like a ghost. "Keldrin has been watching me all morning," Jasper replied quietly. "Like he's waiting for something." The royal advisor has spent decades cultivating political alliances through the Queen's potential unions, Zorith explained. "Your unexpected arrival has disrupted years of careful planning." Before Jasper could respond, the massive doors to the chamber swung open. A delegation of beings with skin like burnished copper entered, led by a regal figure whose elaborate headdress contained what appeared to be an actual miniature sun. "The Solarian Empire arrives," the herald announced. Queen Nyleth straightened, on her throne, her expression carefully neutral. But Jasper felt a wave of tension through their bond. "Prince Thandor of the Solarians approaches with formal greetings," the herald continued. The copper-skinned prince strode forward, his movements precise and calculated. He bowed deeply before Nyleth, then turned to Jasper with obvious curiosity. "We were unaware Cassiopeia would be represented at these proceedings," Prince Thandor remarked, his voice carrying subtle harmonics that made Jasper's teeth vibrate. "Particularly given our pending alliance through royal union." Jasper felt a cold shock run through him. turning to Nihilith, whose face remained impassive though he could sense her discomfort. The convergence welcomes all. Stellar nations, Thandor, she replied diplomatically. Keldrin stepped forward then, his crystalline growths seeming sharper in the chamber's light. Perhaps before we proceed with the treaties, we should verify the credentials of all present. He suggested, his eyes fixed on Jasper, starting with the unexpected delegate from Cassiopeia. A hush fell over the assembly. "Is that necessary, Keldrin?" Nihilith asked, a warning in her silver eyes. "Protocol dictates verification in matters of such importance." "Your Majesty?" Keldrin insisted, producing a device that resembled a transparent orb. "A simple scan will confirm the ambassador's identity and authority." Jasper felt trapped. The psychic connection with Nihilith pulsed with her. Sudden anxiety. He could feel her trying to project reassurance to him, but also sensed her uncertainty. "I volunteer to be scanned first, as a gesture of good faith," Prince Thandor announced smoothly, stepping forward. The orb glowed golden as it passed over him, displaying his royal lineage and diplomatic credentials for all to see. Then all eyes turned to Jasper. Nihilith rose from her throne. "This is unnecessary." "Unless there is something to hide, Your Majesty," Keldrin interrupted. A dangerous breach of protocol that caused gasps throughout the assembly, left with no choice. Jasper stepped forward. The moment the orb passed over him, it flashed red, projecting images of Earth, his university ID, his apartment, his actual identity. "Imposter!" Keldrin shouted. "A primitive human from Earth, a species not even granted observer status in stellar politics." Chaos erupted in the chamber. Delegates jumped to their feet, some in outrage, others in fascination. "Prince," Thandor's face darkened like a solar eclipse, his miniature sun headdress flaring dangerously. "Explain this deception, Queen Nihilith," the prince demanded. Jasper felt their connection flooding with emotions, shame, defiance, and something deeper. That gave him courage. He stepped forward before Nihilith could speak. "My name is Jasper Hayes. I'm an astronomy student from Earth," he announced, his voice steadier than he felt. "I came here by accident. But what happened between the Queen and me was no accident." More gasps filled the chamber. "What exactly happened between you?" Prince Thandor asked, his voice dangerous. Keldrin smiled coldly. "They performed the dance of stellar communion, initiating a bonding that, if allowed to complete, would create a royal union, one that would invalidate the carefully negotiated alliance between Astralis and the Solarian Empire." "Is this true?" Thandor demanded of Nihilith. The Queen finally rose, her purple skin luminous with emotion, the galaxies within it swirling faster. "The dance revealed compatibility beyond anything in my experience," she stated, her silver eyes meeting Jasper's across the chamber. "I did not plan this, but neither will I deny what has begun between us." "This is an outrage," Thandor bellowed. "Centuries of diplomatic work undone by a cosmic accident and a human interloper." "The ancient laws are clear," Keldrin added, almost smugly. "A bonding begun must either be formalized or severed completely, and severing such a bond would cause great pain to both participants, possibly even death to the weaker mind." He looked pointedly at Jasper. Nihilith descended from her throne, moving to stand beside Jasper. Their hands found each other instinctively, fingers intertwining as the bond between them pulsed with shared determination. "I stand by my choice," she declared, "even if it means rewriting the future of stellar politics." Prince Thandor's copper face contorted with rage. "Then you leave the Solarian Empire no choice but to consider this a hostile act." He snapped his fingers, and his delegation moved into formation around him. You have until the final ceremony to correct this mistake, or face the consequences." As the Solarians stormed out, Jasper felt the weight of 100 alien gazes upon him and Nihilith, their joined hands a declaration that would echo across the stars. "What have we done?" he whispered. "What the stars intended," she replied, squeezing his hand as the assembly erupted into chaotic debate around them. Worlds collide. Stars streaked past the viewport of the Royal Observation Chamber as Jasper stood beside Queen Nihilith, her purple hand clasped firmly in his. The diplomatic chaos that followed their revelation had eventually settled into a tense new order, with alliances shifting like cosmic dust in solar winds. "Are you certain this is what you want?" he asked softly, studying the galaxy patterns that swirled across her skin, illuminating her face in the starlight. "In 3 centuries. I never found what I discovered in you in a single night," Nihilith replied, her silver eyes reflecting the cosmos beyond the ship. "Some connections transcend politics, even the boundaries between worlds." The doors slid open as Zorith entered with royal advisor Keldron, whose crystalline growths had diminished slightly, a physical manifestation of his acceptance of the new reality. "The Earth delegation has arrived, Your Majesties," Zorith announced with a smile. Majesties. Plural still felt strange to Jasper. The ceremonial union that had formally bonded him to Nihilith had transformed him in ways he was still discovering, his perception expanding beyond human limitations while maintaining his essential humanity. "The Solarian Empire has agreed to the trade concessions," Keldron added, his tone reluctantly respectful. "Prince Thandor sends his acknowledgement of the new alliance." "And Earth?" Jasper asked, understandably overwhelmed but receptive. Keldron replied, "Your planet's scientists are particularly excited about the knowledge exchange program." Together, they walked toward the diplomatic chamber where Earth's first official contact with the stellar nations waited. Their bond hummed between them, a harmony of two worlds that had found each other against impossible odds. "Ready to make history?" Nihilith asked, squeezing his hand gently. Jasper smiled, thinking of the stars that had always called to him, now tangible in the woman beside him. "I've been ready my whole life. I just didn't know it." The massive doors parted before them, revealing Earth's future among the stars. As they stepped through together, Jasper realized that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a simple misunderstanding and an unexpected dance beneath alien skies. Their paths had converged like distant galaxies drawn together by forces beyond understanding, creating something new and beautiful in the cosmos. The astronomers of Earth had always searched the stars for signs of life, never imagining that the stars themselves were searching too, waiting for the perfect moment when worlds would collide and hearts would align in cosmic harmony. "Let's show them the universe," Jasper whispered as they entered the chamber, hand in hand, human and Astralis, united by love that transcended the vast emptiness of space, proving that even across the endless expanse of the cosmos, souls could find each other when the stars aligned.